You could tell these businesses were starting to get pretty nervous yesterday as things started to devolve, as these agitators started taking over, as these protests turned. You can see, look at this sign, family shop, I have kids.
Let's take a look here at what we've got. Joe Biden just taking such a slight lead over the president right now. This past spring, I'm told this entire area was washed out. And check this out. This is the water line on one of the buildings. The water came all the way up here.
So without baseball, the phrase is take me out to the drive-in. That's right, the Mallards are going to be restructuring. Let me show you this. You talk about the high of 67 miles an hour. Max is talking about these winds. You can imagine that they mangled this. This is a trampoline. Within the last 10 minutes, Rebecca, I've also learned that 2 people were hurt in this fire, but they took themselves to the hospital for further treatment.
Chisholm tells me that the scammers are now calling local businesses as well. She says one business is getting phone calls every 15 minutes.
County Highway A at Hammercoist Road is still blocked off. Plenty of people trying to get through here on their way to Fort Atkinson, but State Patrol troopers are not allowing them to.
Someone shot a dog and left him for dead on the side of a road in Marquette County, and now a family wants answers. Buddy's owner says his dog was found a few days ago not far from his property in the town of Oxford, south of Westfield. Buddy died from his injuries. In an exclusive interview, Sara Maslar-Donar talked to the owner, who's hoping someone comes forward to explain why their dog was shot.
A warning tonight, some viewers may find these details disturbing.
The dog, he never left our side. He's just a gentle puppy.
For Nicholas Gray and his family, their 13-year-old spaniel called Buddy was everything, guiding them through their toughest times.
He just lifted our spirits.
But he was known to roam some of the newer properties surrounding them.
Buddy liked to drag his bed around.
Last Friday, he unexpectedly wandered off and was lost for 3 days.
And I thought he was gone.
On Monday, Gray says he got a call. Buddy had been found lying on the side of the road about a half-mile from his home.
As soon as Buddy heard my voice, I was turned around to grab my coat and a blanket so I could pick him up and put him in the truck. Buddy got up and started walking. He wouldn't move the whole time because he was blind, because somebody shot him in the face.
Gray brought Buddy here to the local vet on Monday. The office told him and confirmed to me this morning that Buddy's x-rays showed that he'd been shot at close range.
Pulls out this tablet and he shows me, and it looks like a disease, but it wasn't a disease. He said those are shotgun pellets.
Gray's son made the decision. He didn't want Buddy to suffer, so they put him down. Gray and his family are looking for answers as to who shot their dog.
Doesn't matter who did it. It was wrong. But now Buddy's gone, and I think whoever did something like this should be recognized.
In Marquette County, Sara Maslar-Donar, 27 News.
Nick Gray says he spoke with law enforcement officers last night, but at this point, he's not sure anything can be done until someone comes forward.
Trees are damaged, so are buildings and power lines after overnight storms pushed through the area. Much of the damage was focused in Columbia County. Sara Maslar-Donar spent the morning in Portage and shows us what things look like.
Columbia County and Portage officials did a really good job last night clearing off the street of any debris, but now residents are having to wake up and assess the damage done to their homes, their cars, their backyards. Take a look at this. We're in the backyard of a neighborhood resident here whose tree you could see was completely uprooted and fell through the fence, breaking the fence, a flower planter right there, and the tree actually fell right in the middle of these 2 homes, downing this power line here. Very fortunate the way it fell. Any way to the left or the right could have been disastrous. Now let me take you to the front of these homes just to show you what the street looks like. Now, as you take a look at the front of these 2 homes, again, a different angle of this tree, you can see it fell almost right between them. Of course, its branches on either side, on that left side, destroying that balcony and downing that power line onto the right home. But again, these homes mostly intact, fortunately surviving most of the downed tree falling on top of them. And again, nobody was hurt in either of those two homes. But if you take a look to the left here, look at this, another home on this block dealing with downed trees. This car right here with the back window completely smashed in after the high winds and the storm blew through last night. I talked to residents in this area who told me about the fear and the frightened feelings they had as this storm quickly whipped through the area.
I was petrified. It was so bad at the house. When the winds was blowing and the rain and the thunder and lightning, it sounded like it was picking up metal chairs and hitting the house.
Overnight, Columbia County officials said they had to go to at least 57 incidents of power lines down and trees down within the county. And again, this area here in Portage seems to have been hit pretty hard. Residents do have their work cut out for them this morning as they assess the damage, call their insurance companies, and work to find out what they're going to have to do now. Reporting here in Portage, Sara Maslar-Donar, 27 News.
The COVID-19 pandemic has caused financial hardships for millions of Americans.
Without a source of income, some are turning to credit cards to cover their costs. Sara Maslar-Donar is digging deeper into how people can utilize a credit card to their best advantage.
It's been hard.
Morgan Giddings quit a part-time job right before the pandemic began. Then she lost her full-time job because of the pandemic. Now, months later, she's still waiting to be approved for unemployment benefits as her savings dry up and bills come due.
I'm hoping that I'll be approved for my unemployment, so it will be, I think, a big chunk of money, hopefully, but once I don't know how I'll pay it unless I get that.
She says she's been using her credit card more often in the last few months, but national data on credit card debt actually tells a different story. The Federal Reserve tracks consumer credit, including credit card debt racked up by purchases made by those consumers. And according to the data, since the beginning of the pandemic, that debt has been going down. And experts say this could point to the fact that people aren't pulling out their credit cards to make purchases quite as often. Take a look. Outstanding revolving debt, which mostly includes credit cards, fell below $1 trillion in the second quarter of 2020, that's April, May, and June, for the first time in several years, and then continued to fall. It slowly started to inch back up in September. Madison College finance instructor Mike Johnson tells me people likely held off on discretionary spending at the onset of the pandemic.
Chances are you're not putting as much gas in the tank, you're not putting on as many miles. You're maybe not staying in hotels as often or taking airline flights or going out to eat.
People are also likely paying down debt with money they have been able to save. But Johnson says the Federal Reserve's data may not reflect the people like Giddings who have been struggling financially for months.
It could very well be that it could be very few people reducing their debt by large amounts that could really be counterbalancing the many people who have lost their jobs with the high unemployment rate, and they're forced to kind of use their credit cards just to stay afloat.
So are you having to use like a credit card for just everyday things?
Yeah.
Giddings says she's been using 3 different cards that allow her to transfer her balance from one to the other.
If a person is disciplined and organized, any number of credit cards is fine.
Johnson suggests you make a list of expenses. Doing that could help you avoid unnecessary costs. Also, take advantage of benefits from certain cards. Some offer cashback rewards on things like gas and groceries. And pay your full balance each month, or at least the minimum due. That'll protect your credit score and keep you from paying high interest costs.
You do have to be careful to not overspend. It is real money, and you are going to have to pay it.
And as for Giddings, the waiting game on her unemployment benefits continues.
I feel hopeful, but then again, it's been 7 months.
In Lone Rock, Sara Maslar-Donar, 27 News.